Laura, that evening was one of the most joyful ones in my life, a 30th wedding anniversary surrounded by family and friends, many of whom attended our wedding decades ago. Cole looked exceptionally good, he was fit as usual. A touch of gray at his temples gave a hint of him becoming a distinguished older man, but his sharp blue eyes remained unchanged. I hoped he still saw me the same way. At 52, I had maintained my figure, only 7 pounds 3 kg heavier than on our wedding day. I had indulged in a fancy evening gown and new heels for our celebration and spent the whole day preparing. It felt wonderful to greet old friends and our now adult children, along with nieces and nephews. They had taken on most of the planning for the night. We skipped the formal speeches and simply hoped everyone would enjoy themselves. Later, Cole invited me to dance. As we danced, it felt just like our wedding night, and everyone paused to watch. Cole gave me a smile that seemed tinged with sadness. Cole, thank you for 30 incredible years together. Laura, responding with a smile, thank you, you're the ideal husband. I'm truly content with our life. Cole, his tone somewhat melancholic and odd, you've been a wonderful wife. As the dance continued, he spoke again. Cole, you're holding up well. I noticed you only looked at him once tonight. Laura, I'm sorry, who are you talking about? Cole, let's not play games, Laura. You're better than that. And after 3 decades of being faithful, I deserve the truth. Laura, quietly, all right, if you're implying I'm avoiding the topic, let's be clear, I'm talking about your boss, Charles Davenport. He, unlike you, seems unable to look away from me. Suddenly, I felt nauseous, as if I might throw up. Tears welled up in my eyes. I hoped the guests would assume I was moved by the anniversary. Cole, stop crying, Laura. You've brought this on yourself. Keep dancing unless you want everyone to realize something's wrong. I didn't argue or question his knowledge. He deserved more respect than that. Laura, I'm sorry. Cole, no, that doesn't cut it. If you were truly sorry, you wouldn't have seen him again. This was no accident, it was intentional and repeated. Laura, speaking softly, it's straightforward, an affair with your affluent boss. How long has this been happening? Laura, I'm not sure, maybe a few months. We continued dancing. Everyone watched us closely, including the children. If they only knew what we were discussing, it would be disastrous. Cole, how often do you meet him? Laura, we meet when I travel for work every few weeks. There's nothing unseemly happening at the office. It isn't the fervent romance you're imagining, I have you for that. Cole, then what's the reason? Laura, it's more about needing something different than what a husband provides. Cole, that's not it at all. It started as companionship and support after he lost Lucy. He was feeling down, and I was just trying to help him recover. Cole, laughing sarcastically, how selfless of you. I suppose you think your actions were quite beneficial for him. Charles nodded, swiftly returning to his professional demeanor. Charles, honestly, I love Laura. I'm sorry if this hurts you, but I can't deny my feelings for her. She rescued me, and without her kindness, I don't know if I'd still be around. I didn't mean to be deceptive about the party. I just felt it would be awkward not to attend since everyone else from work is here. Cole, using your deceased spouse as an excuse to pursue a married woman is pretty despicable, even for you. Laura, glancing around, worried that we were attracting attention, you better go before I lose my cool, you little. Cole turned to me as Charles hurriedly walked away. Cole, keep up the facade for another 30 minutes. Then we'll leave. It shouldn't be too hard for you, you're quite skilled at deception. Laura, holding back tears as my heart shattered for him, today's wedding celebration feels like an appropriate conclusion, wouldn't you say? Cole, calmly, I regained my composure and felt a twinge of anger. Don't be absurd. We're not ending things over this. We can work through it. With those words, I hurriedly stumbled away, trying to reach the bathroom before I broke down. I never intended to seek an affair. I was happily married to a wonderful man. My boss, Charles, often flirted, and I found it amusing, though it never went beyond that. Everything changed when his wife, Lucy, passed away. His grief was palpable, you could see the vitality draining from him. As a sociable extrovert with a knack for jokes and uplifting others, I tried to lift his spirits. We all did, and we ended up having several lunches together. Our bond strengthened during business trips. I knew it helped him cope, and our time together felt natural. Sex was never the main focus. I contemplated telling Cole, but I knew he wouldn't approve. Women who do such things are seen as naive, it's almost worse than the affair itself. It wounds a man's pride and ego deeply, and that's not something to take lightly. Honestly, I thought I could keep it a secret from Cole. Charles was relieved, he seemed to see me as his savior. I knew we needed to stop, that I had averted a crisis, but he always made me laugh and feel good again. Charles had a sophistication that Cole lacked, an easy charm and confidence. He was different from my calm, rational husband. My worst fear was Cole finding out. I rehearsed excuses I was ashamed of, admitting I had hurt him. Which was true, claiming my undying love for him, though I wasn't so sure anymore. I had developed deep feelings for Charles. The truth was, I was uncertain about everything, and if pressed, I'd admit to loving both men. I was certain Cole would forgive me, his love and devotion were unwavering. I couldn't imagine us apart, no matter what I had done. How did he find out? On our anniversary, he confronted me directly. I hesitated, unable to meet his gaze. Denying it would have been futile. The next day, Cole sat beside me, looking utterly devastated. Cole, you seem oddly calm about this. Maybe you just don't care. Laura, that's not accurate. I love you deeply. You mean everything to me. Cole, and him. Don't forget your feelings for him. You can't just let go of him for me. I attempted to clarify once more about Charles's struggles with depression, our friendship, and the emerging emotions. Then, Cole caught me off guard by inquiring about the purpose of the upcoming business trip. Laura, even to myself, my response sounded feeble, it's nothing that couldn't be handled with a regular phone call. Cole, so, it seems like all of this is meticulously planned, and the business trip is just another cover for your ongoing involvement with someone else. I tried to explain that it's not exactly an affair. Cole, all right then, to conceal the fact that you're having a relationship with another man. Oh, I fell right into that one. I should have steered the conversation to make Cole understand that it's not entirely negative, that it's just a small part of our lives. Cole, how would you characterize our marriage? As blissful, prosperous, the ideal union that everyone perceives it to be? Laura, it's fantastic. I feel the same way. I have my justifications, but I recognize that what I'm doing is wrong. Despite that, I've always strived to be the best partner to you, and we share a flawless life together. Cole, yeah, except for the fact that you're involved with someone else and building this perfect marriage on a foundation of deceit and infidelity. It shouldn't impact our happiness, we're thriving, especially lately. I feel like I've grown as a person in certain aspects, more mindful of others. Cole, you're looking rather pleased with yourself. Come on, Cole, these sarcastic remarks aren't helping. Laura, how did you find out then? Cole, our marriage is on the edge, and all you care about is how I discovered it. Is this just so you can cover your tracks better next time? I apologized but didn't promise to end things with him. Laura, it's not that straightforward. I'm concerned about how he'll cope without me. I fear he'll spiral into another bout of depression. Cole, well, I guess that clarifies where I stand. Your priority is his happiness. What if I become depressed because my wife is cheating? Will that bring you back? I had never witnessed my usually kind and gentle husband so enraged. Especially not directed at me, and it frightened and saddened me to see him that way. Cole, I want you to leave. This is my home too. Just go. Get out now, Laura, before I do something I'll regret. I decided to head to my best friend's house, and then it dawned on me, Wendy, my closest confidant, was the only one I had shared this with. That must be how Cole found out. She had threatened to tell him, and evidently, she followed through. By the time I arrived, I could barely contain my emotions. Laura, I lashed out at Wendy verbally. Cole kicked me out, and the only way he could have known was if you told him. Wendy, I didn't say a word, Laura. She didn't outright deny it. Laura, how could you? How could my closest friend betray my trust and ruin my marriage? Her response left me stunned. Wendy, you know what, Laura? Forget you. I'm as much Cole's friend as I am yours. I've known him for over 30 years. I warned you this whole situation was insane, and he didn't deserve any of it, but you never listened. And I never breathed a word to him. I've spent the last 3 months avoiding him to keep your secret. It's pathetic to act like a love-struck teenager. The only person I've let down is him. Now get out of my house. Getting thrown out was becoming a routine. Where could I even go? To my mom's. It's like facing an interrogation. To Charles's? That would surely mark the end of my marriage. I ended up going to my mom's and concocted a story about a minor argument to deflect most of her questions. Then, I realized I had to do something crucial, something really important, even if it came with a cost. 20 minutes later, I found myself knocking on Cole and Laura's door. Cole, opening the door, looking horrified, please tell me you're not here to defend her. Wendy, no, I'm here to confess and apologize. Cole seemed confused, then gestured for me to come in. I came clean. Wendy, I'm sorry, Cole. I knew she was involved with him. I pleaded with her to snap out of it and understand the risks. I'm sorry I didn't speak up. She's my oldest friend, but you're my friend too, and I should have said something. Cole appeared lost in thought. The silence stretched, and finally, he spoke. Cole, I realized she's put you in a tough spot, damned if you act and damned if you don't. I grinned, typical Cole, composed, thoughtful, kind. Cole, why do you think she did it, Wendy? Wendy, I believe she thought she was rescuing him. It started as friendship, but it evolved into something deeper. Cole, are you certain kicking her out was the right move? Won't that give him more options? Wendy, Cole nodded. The conversation didn't go as planned. She got swept up in a romantic fantasy. I agree with you, she sees herself as a hero who saved a good man. That's why I thought if she got kicked out, maybe she'd realize that to some extent. I don't know if she's after me or him. Wendy, she might not realize it now, Cole, but it's you she truly needs. You've always been her rock and support. Laura, I knew it was risky, but I needed assistance. Charles would know what to do, he was the sharpest guy I knew. I phoned him, he was glad to hear from me and suggested we meet as usual. We agreed to rendezvous after work at a fancy restaurant, and I dressed to impress. I wanted to stay married to Cole, but I needed to keep Charles interested just in case. If Cole wouldn't take me back, Charles would be my backup. After all, he'd often professed his love for me. We barely sat down when Cole and Wendy walked in. What a coincidence. I interrupted them just as they were about to sit. Wendy, what the heck are you doing with my husband? Laura, I suppose the same thing you're doing with Charles. I've said countless times that I think Cole is an excellent match, and if you're foolish enough to let that go, well, Laura, I addressed Cole. You can't do that. We're married, something you're more than happy to overlook. Cole, he glanced at Charles. It's just dinner with a friend, nothing more, by the way. Laura, I wore a really stylish outfit, if I do say so myself. Those are your stockings and my heels. It seems like tonight might be his lucky night, or should I say another one? Laura, I could feel my face flushing. This wasn't how it was supposed to go, it was meant to be a romantic evening, and here I am in a restaurant, with my husband announcing to everyone that I'm wearing stockings in preparation to be with another man. Wendy, she shifted her gaze to my legs. Black stockings with seams, a tad cliché and revealing. Maybe you should consider a sexy nurse's outfit, after all, you're supposedly concerned about his health. Wendy, turning to Cole, she smiled. Personally, I find nudity much more subtle. I noticed Cole raise his eyebrows at her. Sheesh, she was flirting with him right in front of me. That said it all, she wasn't trying to keep us apart. In fact, she was trying to be your friend at my expense. Laura, I didn't see her until you accused her the other day, after which she came and apologized. She explained that you were a longtime friend of hers and that she had tried numerous times to get you to see reason. I have to admit, her apology seemed more sincere than yours, Laura. I was speechless. It was incredibly disheartening. When you went back to your boyfriend, Laura, I felt defeated. I broke down in tears and hastily left the restaurant. I'm losing him. Even if we managed to salvage our marriage, I could tell he wouldn't be the same. I had gone from being cherished to barely tolerated. I couldn't fathom how they knew we'd be at the restaurant. It couldn't have been a coincidence. And they seemed prepared to see me with Charles. Charles offered his assistance again, suggesting he could explain and mediate if we got Cole and myself together. The offer seemed far-fetched, but I was willing to try anything. Cole had always been quicker than me in debates and arguments, but I knew Charles could hold his own. Cole was taken aback when I returned to our former home with Charles. He stood up, and I thought he might confront Charles. Laura, are you serious? This involves all of us, and Charles is here to help clarify things properly. Laura, I was surprised when Cole calmly sat back down. Well, it's quite the trio we have here. I'm eager to hear it. Laura, ignoring his jab. I began. I want to start by apologizing to you. I never intended to form a bond with Charles, and I never meant to cause you pain. I know it's hard to believe, but I truly love you. Charles spoke up. I want to apologize too. If I had been in the right state of mind, I never would have crossed that line. I was unwell. I can honestly say that without Laura, I might not be here today. Cole, you seem to be doing just fine. Is she still your savior, or is it just about sex now? Cole, you shouldn't have taken my wife's side just because you were unwell. That's still betrayal and cheating. Cole, he turned to me, his eyes piercing. You picked him over me. Laura, I didn't, but I couldn't abandon a friend in need. Cole, you could have been a friend without getting intimate. I brushed off the rude comment and launched into the speech I had prepared with Charles. Laura, it wasn't planned. We just connected in tough times and developed feelings. I'm sorry for hurting you. You don't deserve this. We have a few options, as I see it. Cole, oh, really? Then please, tell me. Laura, firstly, you could divorce me. It's the last thing I want, but I won't resist if that's your decision. The kids are grown, but they still need us both. I'd split the assets however you like, and I trust you to be fair. But it would shatter our dreams of a future together. I still want that with you, if you'll have me. And if we divorce, will you move in with him? Laura, we haven't discussed it, but yes, I think it's likely if you leave. Cole, you're not the one who got dumped on that crap show. Laura, I didn't leave you. You kicked me out. Cole, the other option is I could end things with Charles, and you could try to forgive me somehow. I'm not sure that's possible. It would eat away at you, and you wouldn't trust me. Laura, I can't turn my back on someone I care for when they're in need. I'll never forgive myself for that. Cole chuckled. Indeed, in tough times, he's the least troubled guy I've ever seen. He's like the cat that got the cream. Can't you see he's relishing it? I tried to stay focused despite that remark, though I noticed Charles flinch slightly. Laura, or we could carry on as we are now. You've said your content, and I want to keep making you happy above all else. My connection with Charles shouldn't impact you. We still hold each other in high regard. Cole began to laugh heartily before regaining composure. Respectful, huh? You have no clue. Laura, I continued in turn. I'd even be open to you seeing someone else. Even if it were Wendy. I see you as a free man, and while I doubt it's your preference, I understand if you desire it. I don't want anything beyond you and Charles. Let's be transparent. I'll be the best partner to both of you, no sneaking around, no secrets. We'll strive to establish trust among us three, and that's the option I'd choose. Cole, gazed at me intensely, as if seeing right through me. I prefer option 1. Let's end our marriage. Laura, his seriousness made my heart race. Reality hit me hard, what I stood to lose. I agreed to this ultimatum, assuming I had a fallback plan in Charles, perhaps the best option if I'd already jeopardized my relationship with Cole. Now, I wasn't so sure. Cole, one more thing, did he come up with this nonsense? Laura, I averted my gaze. Charles appeared equally uneasy. Cole, good grief, Laura, you really do heed advice. If I'm not mistaken, it seems someone's pushing for us to split up. Charles burst out, given the circumstances, that's a perfectly logical suggestion. Cole, back off, Charles. You know divorce is my only recourse, just as you intended. Tell me, Laura, apart from you and Wendy, who else was privy to your affair? Laura, well, hardly anyone. Mostly just Charles. Cole, so perhaps he boasted to a friend or two, something about him fooling around with a hot MILF at the office. That friend spreads it, and suddenly it's common knowledge. And maybe one of those people just happens to know me. A skeptic might say someone ensured the message reached me. Cole directed his gaze at Charles. That's why you showed up at our party, right? You were aware of what I'd discovered. You wanted to witness the fallout. Maybe you hoped I'd lay it all out, and you'd be there to pick up the pieces. Charles, rubbish. I had no knowledge of any of that. Cole, it's suspicious that Wendy learned about your rendezvous at the restaurant so swiftly and through a friend, which seems rather convenient. We went there to reason with you, yet you promptly fled to your paramour. Laura, I broke down in tears. Why? Why would he do that? He loves me. He'd never intentionally hurt me like that. Cole, it's evident. He wants you exclusively for himself. He's gone to great lengths to end our marriage. He's just as unwilling as I am to share you. He's not like that. Tell him, Charles. Charles, who cares? He made his decision, to leave you and divorce you. We can be together. Cole pressed on, were you genuinely depressed, or was this all part of a scheme? Charles, of course, I was. I'd like to see some medical proof to support that claim. I've traced the gossip all the way back to you. Charles, it's plausible. I might have let it slip to someone. I wanted everyone to know about us, Laura. Laura, so you feigned illness, exploited her sympathy, encouraged her affair, ensured I found out. And did everything to break us apart. Is that about right? Charles, so what if I did? We belong together. I'm wealthy, and I want to enjoy life with Laura. I love her, even when Lucy was alive. Cole, the slap reverberated in the room. Charles recoiled, clutching his face. Laura, before I could strike him again, Cole rose, seized Charles by the collar, hoisted him up, and shoved him against the front door. Consider yourself fortunate. If I see you again, you won't be so lucky. Laura, I hurried to him in distress. I was foolish, Cole. I can't believe I trusted him. I'll resign and never see him again. It's a grave error. I forgot what I had in you, all the things you do effortlessly. Ensuring everything's all right, embracing me, your subtle humor, and how you entertain my wild ideas. Please, give me another chance. Cole, calmly, I can't. Laura, you can, if you truly want to. Is this about Wendy? Cole, no, we just went there to try to reason with you, and also to kick you out of the house, so you'd realize this isn't some romantic tale. She and I are simply friends who share a common experience. We were both betrayed by you. Cole, it succeeded. I was so envious when I saw you both. It felt like my world was crumbling. After that, I didn't believe you'd take me back, so I stayed with Charles as a backup. Cole, I never intended to hurt you, regardless of what you did. Yet, that's what happened. You rejected me, made me look foolish, and jeopardized our life together. Laura, I'm the one who looks foolish. Cole, please give me another chance. We've had 30 wonderful years together. Cole, surprisingly calm. It's too late, Laura. You desired someone else. I wasn't sufficient for you. That's not true. I was just aiding a friend. Laura, come on, deep down, you know you're deceiving yourself to ease your guilt. You were drawn to what he offered. Our life together wasn't fulfilling for you. This might be tough for you to acknowledge, but it's straightforward. You're a deceitful cheater, plain and simple. Cole, I think it's time for you to go. Please don't make me leave you. Leave, or I will. Considering the circumstances, it should be you, don't you agree? Laura, 6 months later, we divorced amicably, with no complications, but my life. We handled everything online, no lawyers. No therapists, no courtrooms. I relocated, returned to my mom's, and took a step back in time. Memories of living there and the joy of meeting Cole flooded back. I reminisced about my wedding day, preparing at my mom's for the happiest day of my life. Eventually, I had to come clean to my friends and kids. They began to hint that it might have been Cole's fault, given his charm. They thought he might have been unfaithful. Initially, neither my parents nor my kids could believe it, but when I broke down, they grasped the truth of my betrayal. They didn't disown me, but our relationships were never quite the same. Charles attempted to reach out to me multiple times. I never responded. He turned out to be a complete snake. I was the one betrayed by someone who professed love for me, and it cost me everything precious to me. I hope you enjoyed this story. Please subscribe to the channel for new stories.